X Jackson, KNXX, Donaldsonville, and WDGL HD2, Baton Rouge. This hour brought to you by Spencer Callahan Injury Lawyers, LA 21-12681. Offices in Baton Rouge. Now, The Hunt Palmer Show.
Waiting to rise again.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show. Brought to you by Corks, Cajun fried fish and shrimp on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
This is the moment you've all been waiting for.
Locking down the middle of the day. Live from downtown Baton Rouge, this is Hunt Palmer.
Welcome in, Hunt Palmer, coming to you from our studio downtown in the capital city on this Football Friday. Means we're brought to you by Corks, Cajun fried fish and shrimp. Jacob Beck, Cassie Spazzali back there on the ones and twos. Fired up. You are here with us on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge, LSU in Florida. Tomorrow night under the lights at Tiger Stadium. We will certainly talk about that. Preston Guy will be along in 15 minutes to do so. Also got to talk Saints as they get ready to welcome in the San Francisco 49ers on Sunday afternoon in the Dome. We'll talk about that. SEC picks against the spread, setting the table for the NFL schedule of the weekend. And, of course, final picks for both of those games coming up at the end. These are some of my favorite shows to do, as I talked about last week. But it ratchets up a little bit when you've got Louisiana Tech one weekend and then you got Florida coming in the next. So if you're traveling in from somewhere in the state of Louisiana along the Gulf Coast over in the Houston area, be safe doing so. Lock us in. We appreciate you making us part of your commute. If you're here in Baton Rouge and you're done with the work week, that's a good thing. If you're still on the clock, we'll get you to the finish line here on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Let's crank it up the way we do every day with our Genesis opening drive.
It's time for Hunt's Opening Drive, presented by Genesis of Baton Rouge.
LSU in Florida is always a big deal, and it is this week. It's a really big deal for these two coaches. And when they were hired, a lot of folks said, well, these two are tied at the hip, and we're just going to compare them. And I pushed back on that. I said, that's not really relevant. It is 100% relevant what coaches are available in a given hiring cycle. And back in 2022, when 2021 is when they were hired. 2022 was their first season. So back in December of 2021, the fact that LSU and Florida were both in the market was a big deal because those two are blue bloods. Those two are one of the handful of teams that have a national championship and multiple national championships this century. And they were theoretically aiming for some of the same targets. And that is absolutely 100% relevant when you consider who's hiring who. Just like it was relevant when LSU and Texas were in the market back in 2016. But what Billy Napier does at Florida and what Brian Kelly does at LSU, those are independent of each other. And they do not change the expectation at those programs. If Brian Kelly rips off a bunch of 8 and 4s at LSU, but Billy Napier keeps going 6 and 6 and gets fired at Florida, you don't go, well, dodged a bullet there. We got the right guy. No. You say, well, Brian Kelly's not winning enough games. And if Brian Kelly wins 2 national championships at LSU and Billy Napier has 3 straight perfect seasons at Florida that follow, you don't go, well, we screwed that up. He's got 3 and he's got 2. The expectation at LSU is the expectation at LSU. The expectation at Florida is the expectation at Florida. So I reject the notion that you've got to sit here and quibble over Napier versus Kelly at their current spot. I don't find that relevant at all. At Florida, you're supposed to do the things that Steve Spurrier and Urban Meyer did. If you don't, you will be shown the door. Ask Dan Mullen. At LSU, you were expected to compete to win the SEC, to make the college football playoff, and to compete for national championships. I'm not saying it's a requirement to win a national championship at either one of them, but you better be in the mix. And these two guys have not been in the mix through 3 years. So the fact that Billy Napier is 20 and 20 doesn't make Brian Kelly's lack of a college football playoff appearance, lack of an SEC title, 4 losses last year, look any better to me. So now that we've got that settled and we understand that these two guys, when they were hired, it was relevant that both were hiring coaches. Once those hires were made, you got to go swim in your water. And they're not swimming enough. And that is part of the reason that Saturday night is so vital to both of these men. Not because it's one or the other. Not because it's Brian Kelly versus Billy Napier or Billy Napier versus Brian Kelly. That has nothing to do with it. Billy Napier is trying not to go 1-2 to start a season in his fourth year where he is a 500 coach that would fall behind 500 if they lose on Saturday night, and he's still got to play Miami on the road, and he's still got to play A&M on the road, and he's still got to go play Georgia away from his home stadium. He's still got to play Tennessee. He's still got to play Florida State. He's still got to play Texas. This could be the end. You start 1-2 with that gauntlet in front of you, forget it. He knows that. Everybody knows that. And we've talked about it all week. Brian Kelly is not on a similar hot seat if his team loses on Saturday night. You'll have a stadium full and a fan base full of really cranky people if you lose to a team that just lost to South Florida. I will grant you that for sure. But you're not going to have a situation where it's untenable to keep him around any further. You're not having a situation if you lose on Saturday where you can't move forward and accomplish every goal that you've got with this team. Billy Napier drops his second game. You got to go win all the rest of those. Forget it. Brian Kelly could figure things out from here. We've seen him do it before. They were not very good in 2023 early in the season, and they hit stride offensively. They were not great his first year early in the season. They hit stride. They beat Bama. They won the West. You can still do some things. The schedule's too hard for Billy Napier. So what's more important around here, obviously, is Brian Kelly. And what's at stake for Brian Kelly and this program Saturday night in Tiger Stadium? You win this game, you're 3-0 for the first time in Kelly's tenure. You've got an FCS team coming in here next week. You can coast if you're a fan. They got to go to work and practice. They got to recruit. They got to get better. There's no stress next week. And all of a sudden, you go to Oxford, Mississippi, a 4-0 football team, to take on an Ole Miss team that's not nearly what it was. And you're in the top 5, and you're squarely in the mix. You beat Clemson. You beat Florida. As talented as they are, especially on the defensive line, that is a step in the right direction. And you feel like you've got everything in front of you. You lose to Florida. You can't run the ball. Your offense sputters, and you score 10 points. It could, as we talked about on Monday, reveal some significant warts with this team in its current state. And if those warts continue and your offense can't run the ball and you're not productive in terms of moving it, which you're dead last in the SEC in like a lot of offensive categories, it's so easy for that. And some teams are playing, FCS opponents and scoring 77 points and whatever Arkansas is running up on whoever they've played, nobody cares about. But statistically speaking, your offense has not been good enough. And that does count 4 quarters against Louisiana Tech where you weren't great. And if that continues, it would be reasonable then for me to come on the post-game show on Saturday night, for me to come here on Monday, for me to write at LouisianaSports.net and say, hey, this is a serious problem. If it doesn't get fixed with this investment financially into this roster with this many guys who are not going to be here next year, you may have a serious problem on your hands. Now, if you go out there and you have 2 field goals blocked in return for touchdowns and your quarterback gets hurt and he's out for 2 quarters and no further time, well, we'll talk about that loss in a completely different light than, well, your offense has been out there for 3 weeks and it stinks. You'll say, well, what are the odds of that happening? It's a fluky loss. And things like that happen. But let's be real clear. Nobody's going to care about the Louisiana Tech game if you take care of your business in this game on Saturday night. Everybody is going to care about the Louisiana Tech game if you go out there on Saturday and screw it up. And it could be an indictment on this team, which in turn, because this is the team with the most expectations of the Brian Kelly era, it has a negative reflection on your program. That's what's at stake for these 2 coaches. It is a monster game for both. The positive side of this for both teams is so huge. Florida can really move forward feeling like they may have just slipped up last week. You snap a ball over the punter's head. Okay, whatever, we're getting better. They turned it around last year. Maybe they can turn it around this year. You win in Tiger Stadium against a top 5 team, that's a big deal. Billy Napier stays afloat another week. LSU wins this game. Oh, man. What's the potential of this team? Well, limitless as far as the things you can attain in college football in a given season. That stadium is going to be on fire tomorrow night. On fire. And it's going to be up to LSU to play to that standard. We'll get into the X's and O's as we move forward to kind of close the book on this segment with those two coaches and with this game on Saturday night. I believe Brian Kelly made a great decision to pull the plug on his first defensive staff, which was a failure. He went and restocked the shelves, and he went and got Blake Baker. He went and got Corey Raymond. He's had to address defensive line coach a couple times, sure. Baker decided they wanted to go get Jake Olsen run safeties. And they've got a staff in place right now with Kevin Peoples coming in that I think is really, really good. And they've got a defense that looks really, really good. And this is going to bring this game, in my opinion, back to the Matt Flynn, Jacob Hester years, where that was the biggest game on the schedule as far as the style of play we're going to see. Because we know in 2019, 2020, 23, those teams, like, you were going to get into track meets with great offenses if you went to Tuscaloosa and played Tua and those wide receivers, and like you were going to play Clemson with Trevor Lawrence and Etienne and T. Higgins and all those guys. Like, you were getting track meets with the best in the country in those years. But if you go back 10 years prior to LSU's early golden years with Les Miles, it was defense in that stadium. Defense in that stadium. Defense in that stadium. There's going to be defense in that stadium coming up on Saturday night. And that's what I'm excited to watch. And I have pretty optimistic thoughts about what LSU's defense is going to be. And I think Brian Kelly's gotten that side of the ball right. Billy Napier's baby is the offense. He's got his 5-star quarterback in his sophomore year. That's the savior of the program. He's going to have to deal with that stadium and that defense to move it forward. I don't care anymore that Brian Kelly and Billy Napier were hired within 3 days of each other. I don't care to compare their resumes at their current stops. What cannot be erased, what cannot be overstated, is how big this game is for both of them at their current spots tomorrow. We'll be talking about it for 2 hours, and I'm fired up to do it. LSU in Florida, 6:30 kickoff inside Tiger Stadium. Our Friday show is brought to you by Cork's Cajun Fried Fish and Shrimp, getting out to tailgate on campus. Cork's happy to help you with that. Give them a call this afternoon. They can have you ready and set up for tomorrow. They're great at catering for your tailgates, for your watch parties, for your birthday parties, to feed the office. CorksFishandShrimp.com is a website. Check them out on Government between Foster and Jefferson. They bring you our Friday shows, Cork's Fish and Shrimp. We'll take a timeout. Come back with Preston Guy next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Highland Insurance Group. HighlandIG.com is that website. It is storm season. Been quiet around here. That's a good thing. It is bright sunshine on this gorgeous Friday in the capital city, but we know there are risks when you set up shop here in South Louisiana on the Gulf Coast. If your property policy was just the cheapest one you could find, do you know what the fine print says? Do you know how your building valuation was done? Do you know what co-insurance penalties you may pay in the sense of a loss? Do you know how your business interruption limits got put into place? Do you know what your named storm deductible is? Is it a wind and hail deductible? All these things need to be considered before the storm hits. Don't be reactive. You can't go back and change the policy once the storms hit. Your business interruption limit is wrong. Your business could be in some trouble financially. Don't let that happen. The Howard Insurance Group can make sure that it doesn't. Jonathan Carver and his team are experts when it comes to coverage. They've got dozens of markets they can place your property program with. They can handle the risk appetite here in South Louisiana. They can make sure it's the right price, the right coverage. That's the key when you buy insurance. Jonathan Carver and his team can help you with it. It's the Highland Insurance Group. Find them online, HighlandIG.com.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Auctioner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
I'm Gabrielle McLeod on behalf of the Louisiana Propane Dealers. I have spent hundreds of hours preparing for scholarship competitions. That preparation paid off when I won the Fitness and Talent Awards along with the title of Miss Louisiana. The Louisiana Propane Dealers are also pretty talented and want you to be prepared for when the power goes out. Visit LouisianaPropane.com to find out about propane generators and other safety tips. Louisiana Propane, it truly is the fuel for our future.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram is taking $22,500 off MSRP on the brand new 2025 Ram 1500 Laramie with $22,500 off MSRP with a complimentary 7-year powertrain warranty that comes with all new Bayou Automotive vehicles. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
River Parish Contractors has immediate openings for structural steel shop fabricators. Call or text Big Jake today at 318-547-1000 or go to rpcontractors.com and click on employment. River Parish Contractors. Let's get building.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief. Our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
Family owned and community driven.
Service Chevrolet Cadillac, a legacy you can trust since 1972.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Corks, Cajun fried fish and shrimp.
Set the scene for Sunday in the National Football League coming up here in our next segment. Always have Preston Guy, TigerBait.com with us at 1:15 talking football. We do so now on the Jim's Firearms Hotline. Preston, how are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Doing quite well. I know you spent a lot of time watching film of that Louisiana Tech game, which I'm sure was not super fun to do on the offensive side of things. What's wrong with the offense?
Well, I'll tell you what. I always do deep dive film studies whenever there's like a burning question. What is wrong with the offense? Or this was 10 times more fun than what was wrong with the defense after Ole Miss in 2023. Way more fun because, you're watching that film against Ole Miss and you're like, I just don't know if they got the Jimmies and Joes to fix this. And that was apparent. That's definitely not the case looking at this offense. There's a lot of talent and there's a lot of proven capable guys who struggled, but what really stood out to me was just how bad Garrett Nussmeier was, given Garrett Nussmeier is a fantastic player, and he's proven that for more than a year. He has more than 6,000 yards in his career, and you just hope that this is that one-off game. And, in fact, if you go look at every Heisman winner outside of Joseph Lee Burrow, okay, every one of them has a crappy game, okay? And I think this was hopefully the crummy game that Nussmeier has, and hopefully he has a strong bounce back. But outside of that, you can't really run blocking seems to be a serious problem. They have to do something to straighten it out, and it is a variety of problems and from a variety of guys. That might be the one area I don't see an easy answer. Let's put it like this. I do think Nussmeier can get in better sync with Berry and Brown. I do think the receivers are going to be more reliable catching the ball. I think that's the one that might be problematic.
All right, we'll get to Nussmeier in a second, but I want to stick on the offensive line then since you watched it. Like, this is a completely different group. So I could suggest last year, like, maybe these guys are just really good at pass blocking and just aren't good at run blocking. But if you give me an entire new group of guys and they're not good at run blocking either, like, what am I supposed to suggest about that?
Well, I went back and did a little bit of a study on Brad Davis's offensive line run performance during his time. I would argue since 2021, pass blocking, they've done pretty well. But did you know that in 55 football games since he got hired as the offensive line coach, they've only had a 100-yard rusher from the running back spot? I'm not counting Jaden Daniels and his, wizardry as good offensive line blocking, because a lot of that was pass blocking, and he found a lane. But it's only happened 11 times. 1 out of 5 games, you will have a 100-yard rusher at LSU. And I just can't remember with any consistency in that tenure that any of these offensive linemen have ever had a good time producing holes for running backs. And what kind of makes it sound, I don't know if it's better or worse, but you would think if you have 8 guys drafted in the NFL, which is what Brad Davis has had since he started at LSU, you would have at least found a little bit of consistency producing holes for running backs. But really, since 2021, LSU's never had that.
There's a feeling that Braylon Moore makes a big difference. Do you believe that?
Of course he does. Yeah. I mean, and I don't want to disparage certain players, but the guy coming in for him had some rough tape out there against Louisiana Tech. Louisiana Tech's a team that hasn't had a player drafted in the NFL since 2021, if I'm not mistaken. And these guys are really just kind of physically dominating in a lot of these reps, whereas Braylon Moore was holding his own against Clemson. In fact, I think it was Offensive Lineman of the Week in the SEC.
Yep.
So, that's a big, big drop-off if Braylon Moore is not there. So getting him back and having him on the probable side of things, that's really good. That being said, an ankle sprain like that as an offensive lineman, that's going to bug you. So you have to wonder, is he going to be 100%? Probably not. Is he going to be 95%? You hope so.
Needs to play on Saturday and then take a week off is my opinion on that, but I'm no doctor or coach, so we'll see how that goes after this game against Florida. Back to Nussmeier. What concerns you? Was it just an accuracy thing, or were there some misreads as well?
There were misreads and accuracy. I think I counted 13 bad snaps on him. He held onto the ball too long twice, took sacks, and it was almost equal. I think it was 6 inaccurate throws and 5 misreads. Where there's an open player and he's just throwing it to someone who's not open, and that is, that's concerning that you have a 5th-year senior making both of those mistakes. I'll say this, throw to Barry and Brown early in the game where he was running down the sideline, and Nussmeier just short-armed him by maybe 10, 15 yards, and it wasn't he got hit, it wasn't he had a messy pocket, it was just he's wide open, and Nussmeier just threw a duck. That one is particularly concerning, but I'm willing to sit here and say, okay, it was a game against Louisiana Tech. You won. You have a strong body of work that shows that you're better than that. Let's move on and keep these inaccurate throws to a minimum. Certainly on his deep balls, he does have a history of missing on them with certainly some frequency, but he certainly hits on enough of them to be effective. So all of these things are concerning to see in your second game from your 5th-year senior. But at the same time, I think that the body of work tells you it will be a runoff.
Chatting with Preston Guy, TigerBait.com here on this Football Friday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show. As far as the game plan goes, you got Tyreek Sapp, you got Caleb Downs on that front for Florida. That kind of sounds like Parker and Woods for Clemson. Do you feel like it'll look kind of similar, testing the edge, jet sweep stuff, and some quick passing?
Yeah, and look, Hunt, I think I'm not so certain that that's just not the game plan moving forward for this team. I think that they've identified that this is not an offensive line that's going to go out there and bully people. They have to get creative and play around it. I mean, there's a lot of elements in this offense. Xavier Thomas getting involved in the running game. All these things are not by coincidence. All these screens that we're seeing short middle screens. These are all things to artificially create a running game, a physical running game that isn't there, that you're not capable of, because you couldn't dominate Louisiana Tech in the trenches. So these SEC teams should be a lot more difficult. I think it's going to be very similar to Clemson. The hope here is just that in those crucial plays, you're executing a little bit better. But it does seem like the last 2 years, that's been the story. Is this offense moves the ball, and then when it's time to produce and put points on the board, they tend to shoot themselves in the foot.
How do you feel about LSU standing up to Florida? Veteran offensive line, Jaden Ball on the ground with the run game.
Yeah, I mean, look, the LSU's defense has shown me nothing to suggest that they're going to struggle. I mean, it's certainly a physical team that they bring here. The signature of Billy Napier, but this front seven is just nasty for LSU. I mean, these guys they look good in fall camp, and somehow after 2 games they look even better. That's why, as negative as it sounds like I'm talking about the offense, I am not sleeping on this LSU team. They are absolutely every bit of a contender because that defense is nasty. They look like the 07, 03, 11, those championship defenses we've seen. It looks like one of those.
Is there somebody when you watch on tape that's standing out that we may not see just watching the TV cut or being inside the stadium, somebody that's maybe under the radar that's having a great 2 first games?
Oh, let's see here. That's under the radar. See, my focus was mostly on what went wrong.
Yeah.
I'll say this, man. That Aaron Anderson block there from the Harlem Berry run, that was pure heart and effort. That's the kind of thing that makes championship football teams. That's something that not enough people are talking about. It's just the sheer effort that Aaron Anderson is giving. I do think Berrien Brown's your most talented receiver as a 6'5", 4'2", guy, right? But in terms of just the effort and energy bringing the team, Aaron Anderson is just the guy. Harlem Berry's putting out some solid tape, too. So I'd love to see Harlem Berry start getting 5 or more touches a game.
What's the key Saturday night?
Hey, look, man, the key is when it's your time to put points on the board, get those points on the board. Stop with the drops in crucial third down situations. Stop with the misreads. Just do what you're capable of doing on the offensive end of things. I think your defense is going to give you every chance to win this game if you put up 17 points.
How does it go Saturday night?
I think LSU does take care of business. I think LSU's offense will look improved. I still think they're going to work through some synergy issues, some connection issues from time to time, but I think they cut their mistakes in half. I think LSU's going to win somewhere around the score of 27-13, something about that effect.
A 2-score win would be impressive to me. I think that's a talented Florida team. I know it happened last week, but a 2-score win would be quite a nice thing to go into an FCS week with it. I know you all have the post-game show and your podcast on Monday. Tell them about it.
Yep. We'll be going live about an hour after the game. We'll be leaving the press box, heading home, doing our show, and then I don't know if I'll be doing my show Monday night or not. I will be out of town this week, so we are working on that. So y'all can pay attention to my Twitter where I'll post an update at PGuy77. But the Monday night show might have some problems, but we'll definitely be there Saturday night.
And I'll be here next Friday talking Tiger football on the Hunt Palmer Show. It's Preston Guy, TigerBait.com. Have a great weekend, man. Thanks.
All right, Hunt. See you soon.
Now let's set the table for the NFL weekend to come on Sunday. We'll do that next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Corks, Cajun fried fish and shrimp. They bring you our Friday shows. Delicious jumbo Gulf shrimp, crispy fried catfish. Heck of a po' boy, too. If you're in Baton Rouge, whether you live here or you come in for the games, you're thinking, man, I'd love to get down on a po' boy. Either for Friday at lunch, for Saturday pregame, get something in your belly before you go out there, or even Sunday when you need some grease in your belly. Corks can help you out with all of that. They got a fantastic fried shrimp po' boy and get you a catfish po' boy as well. Try their famous baked potato. It's got the crawfish etouffee and their jumbo golden fried shrimp on top. Always a winner. Check out the whole menu. corksfishandshrimp.com. They got the catering menu there. They got the family size menu there. They got all their salads and, of course, all their specials like the platters as well as the po' boys. It's Corks, Cajun fried fish and shrimp. You can find them online at corksfishandshrimp.com.
My father, J.B. Falgu, had a vision of growth for First American Bank and the communities we serve. The bank's foundation was built on his legacy of compassion, loyalty, and dedication. Through his years of leadership, First American has prospered to heights even J.B. could not have imagined. I know my father would be extremely proud of the customer service and financial stability that First American provides to Southeast Louisiana. We continue to thrive because of the legacy of J.B. Falgu.
BRAC teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. BRAC, your #1 park system in the nation.
These ice cubes could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they cradle and cool the crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Nicely done, ice cubes.
104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and First American Bank and Trust bring you the Heart of the Game Award, recognizing student athletes who deliver when it counts. Nominate your game day standout at 1045ESPN.com by the 21st. We'll choose 5 male and 5 female finalists, and then it's up to the fans to vote for the winners. Each winner gets a $250 gift card, a custom award, and the spotlight they've earned. Presented by First American Bank and Trust, a banking tradition since 1910.
Men, age is just a number. Don't let it dictate how you feel. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness has anti-aging services that can help you look and feel your best. Visit yourgoodwood.com and discover a renewed sense of vitality.
We typically think of stress as being bad for us. At Our Lady of the Lake and LSU, we are researching how certain types of stress, such as exercise, can be good for our immune health. By studying people under extreme stress, such as athletes, astronauts, service members, and first responders, we're learning how to improve the immune health of everyone. That's the power of research. That's the impact of champions. Together, we roar.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief. Our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
At Sunshine, we know what you see when you look at your land. Where others may see dirt, you see the foundation you've built your life on. This, it's hallowed ground. It's past, present, and future. We're proud to provide quality John Deere equipment to help you maintain the land you love. Check out our current promotions and learn more about what it means to be powered by sunshine at sunequip.com.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram is taking $22,500 off MSRP on the brand new 2025 Ram 1500 Laramie with $22,500 off MSRP with a complimentary 7-year powertrain warranty that comes with all new Bayou Automotive vehicles. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you.
This is the Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Corks, Cajun fried fish and shrimp.
"28 minutes from now, I will give you Southeastern Conference football picks against the spread. And I'm feeling great about it.
Feeling great about it.
Confidence level unbelievably high.
What was your record last week?
2-9.
Okay, so why do you feel great about this week?
I don't think it was that bad. Was it 3-9?
It was 2-9.
2-9?
Yes.
That's not very good.
It's bad.
I don't think that's right.
It
had
is.
to be better than 2.
No, it's right.
2. 2's terrible.
It is. So why do you feel so good about this week?
Because I'm an elite college football mind. I'm one of the great analysts of all time. They pay me multiple $1,000s every single year to sit in this seat and give you picks.
Then why did you go 2-9 last week?
Well, look, you just watch the tape.
The tape is bad.
You get back to it, and you figure out what was plaguing you.
Okay.
And you get out there, and you make the adjustment.
All right, here's what happened on the tape. You sucked. That's what happened.
We'll see. 25 minutes, 25 minutes from now. We'll
Okay.
get after it. But for now, let's set the stage for the National Football League. Tier 4, worst games of the week. There are 2 of them. Patriots at Dolphins. Tua, 7-0 versus the Patriots all time. Not Tom Brady's Patriots, obviously. The Dolphins have covered 9 straight games against New England. So if you're a bettor like me that's elite at picking games, as we just discussed, just keep that in mind. The Patriots never cover against the Dolphins. And the other one, same division. The other 2 teams, Bills at the Jets. The Bills were not very good on defense against Lamar Jackson and the Ravens. They got 238 yards on the ground. And the Jets did run for 182 yards against Pittsburgh in week 1. The Bills have not allowed the Jets to score 23 points in 12 straight games. So we'll see if the Jets can get things moving a little bit. I don't think so. I think the Bills crush them. That's why I've got it in tier 4. Let's move up to tier number 3. A little bit better, but still not must-see TV. The Jaguars at the Bengals. I've watched Trevor Lawrence and Joe Burrow play against each other in person. It was great. There was confetti all over the field after the game. Travis Hunter for the Jaguars is going to try to play a little bit more defense this week. That means he's going to be playing against Jamar Chase and Travis Hunter. Last week, the Bengals were the first team to win a game with under 10 yards in the second half since 1995. That's a heck of a nugget. But they won. That's all I care about. They hadn't won a week one opener in forever. The Giants are at the Cowboys. Great NFC East rivalry. Not necessarily a great game this time around. But the Cowboys have won 8 straight and 15 of 16 against the Giants. That's almost impossible to do in the division, but the Cowboys have done that to the G-men. Malik Neighbors was asked about that earlier this week. He said, I don't have any comment on that. So that's what Malik had to say about that. The Rams are at the Titans. It's a rematch of the greatest show on turf Super Bowl. Puka Nacua needs 12 catches to tie Odell Beckham Jr. for the most catches ever through 30 NFL games. 12 catches is a lot, but theoretically he could get there and pass Odell Beckham. The Browns are at the Ravens. We talk a lot about teams that hate each other. If I was a Browns fan, I would absolutely detest the Baltimore Ravens. I just feel like I would. It's like if they went over there, like, took your team. It just sounds awful. And they're in the division. The Browns have won 2 out of 3 against Baltimore. Ravens 12-2 after a loss since 2022. So with Lamar under Harbaugh, they've been really good after a loss. Had a tough one last week. And the Panthers are at the Cardinals. You got Bryce against Kyler, number 1 picks there that are dueling. The Cardinals haven't started 2-0 since 2021, which is the last time they made the playoffs. Bryce Young on the road as a starter. Not very good. 1-13 for young Bryce on the road. This is going to be a tough challenge for him. All right, up to tier 2. This is the good stuff. Bears are at the Lions. It's Ben Johnson's return to Detroit, where he did such a good job as the offensive coordinator. He's the coach now of the Bears. Jared Goff, 10-0 after a loss in his last 10 games. The Lions been really good, bouncing back. They got to do that at home this week. The Seahawks are at the Steelers, also a recent Super Bowl. If the Steelers win, they're 2-0 in back-to-back seasons for the first time since 2016-2017, which kind of surprised me to read that. They've been so consistent on Mike Tomlin, but not a lot of back-to-back 2-0 starts. The Falcons are at the Vikings. Michael Penix threw for 298 yards last week. Is he for real? J.J. McCarthy was great in the second half on Monday Night Football last week. Is he the real deal? 2 guys that were brought in, didn't start to begin last year. Penix was on the bench behind Cousins, and McCarthy was hurt, but they might have some talent, might be able to be the quarterback of the future for the Falcons and the Vikings. All right, 2 games in Tier 1 this week, the best games of the weekend. Broncos at the Colts. The Colts scored on all 7 of their possessions last week, and the Broncos have an elite defense led by Pat Surtain. What's got to give there in Indy? I like the Broncos. I think Sean Payton's got a really good team this year. I'm going to ride them a little bit here. I think they do a good job and they win the game at the Colts. But the Colts, really impressive last week in Miami. And the Eagles at the Chiefs, of course, that's tier number 1. It's a Super Bowl rematch. There have only been 3 previous Super Bowl rematches in weeks 1 or 2. The Super Bowl champion, 1 or 2 in those games. The only winner, 2016 Broncos beat the Panthers in the Super Bowl and then came back and beat them. That is setting the table for the National Football League in week number 2. A lot of people are sick of Eagles-Chiefs. I'm going to watch that. I think that's a quality game. And sneaky game, Bears at the Lions. I think the Lions take care of them. There's a lot of really disappointed people in Chicago that felt like after they really got off to a good start on Monday Night Football and they gagged it against the Vikings, they're still trying to climb that mountain and they haven't done it. It's a division game against a team that's looking not to go 0-2. I'm a little bit down on the Lions because the 2 coordinators gone, even though I hate to do that to my guy Calvin Shepard.
Didn't look good last week.
A good Tiger. No. But I thought they had a tough matchup on their hands last week.
Yeah, they did.
But
6.5 point favorites in that one, though.
They are. Are you out on Eagles Chiefs?
No, I mean, it's always, I don't know. I understand, and I was one of the people that was tired of seeing the same teams, like seeing the Patriots in the Super Bowl every year was kind of annoying. But I'll say this, I don't know why people get tired of watching good football. I mean, the Chiefs and the Eagles are both really good, and it should be a really...
I'm not super high on the Chiefs this year.
Well,
I'm not picking them to win their division.
Yeah, no.
It could be really good.
Well, right.
It's just me. My bad
Here's the thing. They weren't good last year, but they just kept winning games. They kept winning games by 1 point.
I think, and they got to the Super Bowl.
They did, but what I'm saying is, it wasn't
They weren't dominant.
No,
last year.
it wasn't the usual Chiefs. So like they kept winning these really close games, and so they just weren't at the standard that you would expect from them.
The mid-20s Mahomes with Tyreek Hill and Jamar Chase, and the ridiculous speed at running back.
Not Jamar Chase.
Not Jamar Chase. What was I looking for there? Travis Kelce. I don't know why Jamar Chase came to mind, but Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce. They always just cycled through ridiculous running backs, and that was a dominant death machine. This is not that anymore. Their defense is better than their offense, but they just have Mahomes. But I'm still high on the Eagles. Think they're going to be awesome. I'm not as high on the Chiefs. I wouldn't be surprised if the Eagles go to KC and win.
Yeah.
And then the other one I wanted to mention briefly, Jags Bengals. I gave a little line there about Trevor Lawrence and Joe Burrow. But could the Bengals go 2-0? Could it happen? They're
should.
at home.
They should.
That would make me so happy if they were 2-0. I'd really like them to play some playoff games in Cincinnati instead of going to Buffalo and having to deal with the Ravens and going to Arrowhead. That's a death wish. You can't do that.
Couple of interesting tidbits for a couple of games though. Dolphins Patriots. If the Dolphins lose that game, it is. I've heard that apparently the Dolphins may try to ship Tyreek Hill out with all the stuff that's going around him, and the Chiefs, of course, probably could use a receiver. So maybe he goes back to Kansas City.
Something.
So that would be very interesting. And then it's just the Dolphins were not very good last year, and they looked really bad last week against a Colts team who nobody expects anything from. So is the Mike McDaniel Tua thing already kind of crumbling?
Probably.
Would be crazy.
The shelf life on those things is just incredibly short, generally speaking. The Peyton Breeze, Belichick, Brady thing
just doesn't happen.
It doesn't happen very often. It's just really hard to do. So,
yeah. And then the Giants, if they go in and lay down in front of the Cowboys in Arlington, then do the Giants go to Jackson Dart next week with Russell Wilson?
Here's the trivia question. We'll close on the NFL and get to the Saints, just the Saints game. Does Jackson Dart start for the Giants against the Saints? That's in 3 weeks.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Absolutely.
So. I would say absolutely because if they lose this week, let's see what they've got ahead.
Is it 3 weeks or 4 weeks? Is it Patriots first and then?
They've got so they get Cowboys this week, then Chiefs, Chargers, Saints. So it is 3 weeks.
3 weeks. So I didn't know this. I know the Saints next two are Seattle and Buffalo. I didn't know if they came back for New England or they came back for the Giants.
Yes.
They back home games.
This game is, I guess, slightly winnable, but they're not beating the Chiefs. They're not beating the Chargers. So they could foreseeably be 0-5.
That could be spicy in the dome.
3, 4. No, the 0-4 going into New Orleans.
Could have some 0 for teams.
Yeah, we could.
In that game.
Very well could. But I cannot see them starting the season 0-4 and not just letting Jackson Dart go out there.
We'll see. All right, let's talk some Saints-49ers when we come back.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Genesis of Baton Rouge. GenesisofBatonRouge.com is that website. Every car that's on the lot is online at GenesisofBatonRouge.com. And when you buy that new vehicle, one of the coolest things is getting behind the wheel and seeing all the great features that a Genesis vehicle has to offer. But sometimes when you buy that new vehicle, wherever you may buy it from, and you got to deal with those features, you get out in the parking lot, it may be raining, it may be 1,000 degrees. It's a miserable experience. Not at Genesis, because they think of details. They want you to be comfortable at all times. So one of the things they did when they built this brand new showroom, that's, by the way, gorgeous, they've got this climate control room they pull your car into so you can go through all the features with your brand ambassador in the comfort of air conditioning. No rain. It's a small thing, but it's important for that moment when you're buying that vehicle. They've got valet for your test drives, for your maintenance. All of that can be done without you really lifting a finger. And even if you want to buy a vehicle at Genesis Baton Rouge without going to this dealership, you can do that. They'll deliver it to you, and you can do some e-contracts. You're all set. Get behind the wheel of a Genesis. If it's time to buy a car today, if it's time to buy a car next month, if it's time to buy a car next year, give Genesis a shot. You will understand the Genesis difference. It's a luxury brand at a reasonable price. It's their airline at PQ, and, of course, you can find them online at GenesisofBatonRouge.com, GenesisofBatonRouge.com.
When it comes to pipe fabrication, time is money. And at River Parish Contractors, we make every second count. Our 36,000 square foot shop is ready to take on your projects right now. With experienced welders, precise fittings, and fast turnarounds you can trust. Whether it's a single custom spool or a full-scale run, We have the capacity and the skill to keep your job on schedule. Call us or visit rpcontractors.com for your quote. That's rpcontractors.com.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Huh. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance? Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness offers a range of discreet services to address your specific needs. We empower men to reclaim their health and confidence. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
When it comes to choosing energy for your family and your home, make the smart choice with natural gas. You can count on efficient and affordable natural gas to keep you comfortable and reduce your environmental impact to help protect our planet. Together, we're fueling our energy future. Atmos Energy.
We came up with the idea of auctions in August. Gulf Coast Bank does all the work. We display the item, we prominently feature it in social media, on our website, but we do it because it's the right thing to do for the community.
104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and First American Bank and Trust bring you the Heart of the Game Award, recognizing student athletes who deliver when it counts. Nominate your game day standout at 1045ESPN.com by the 21st. We'll choose 5 male and 5 female finalists, and then it's up to the fans to vote for the winners. Each winner gets a $250 gift card, a custom award. You're listening to The Hun Palmer Show, brought to you by Corks, Cajun fried fish and shrimp.
Friday show is brought to you by Corks, government between Foster and Jefferson. Swing on by the drive-thru, get some late lunch here on this Friday. How about a shrimp po' boy? How about a catfish po' boy? Crispy shoestring fries. They got you covered over there at Corks. Check out the menu, corksfishandshrimp.com. SEC picks against the spread coming up in about 13 minutes. Saints and 49ers from the Dome on Sunday. A couple of teams that have been banged up for years and are a little bit banged up here in week 2. Of course, it's going to affect San Francisco a little bit more, considering that it's their starting quarterback that's not going to play and their best playmaker on offense is not going to play in George Kittle, certainly. But let's talk about the Saints' injuries here and what they mean for this game specifically. Chase Young and Trevor Penning are not going to play on Sunday. The first one I want to talk about is Trevor Penning, because the Saints did not have Trevor Penning in the game last week, and they still did a good job blocking for the run. Last week, the Saints averaged 3.7 yards per contact before contact, which is 4th best in the league. And last week, the 49ers were a little bit better stopping the pass than the run. So to me, even though Penning is out, and you feel like Penning is actually one of your better run blockers, you did the job last week blocking on the ground. And it wasn't a gaudy effort, but it was a well-blocked effort, and it was a functional effort running the football. I think you now have 2 guys you can trust a little bit, because it wasn't a big sample size last week when you look at what Kendre Miller was able to do, but there were flashes, and you know what Kamara is. If I'm the Saints, and I'm Kellen Moore, and I'm Doug Nussmeier, try to get that ground game going in the way that you blocked it up last week. You'd like to have Penning, but you don't have him. And if you can do that, it's something we've talked about back to August. You just make Spencer Rattler's life so much easier. One, he's not throwing the ball if you hand it to him. You didn't do anything, just hand the ball. That's easy. You can do that. Two, get into 2nd and 6. Get into 3rd and 3. Stay out of 3rd and 11 where Bosa can be a nightmare on young tackles. If you stay ahead of the chains, I think the Saints can be okay in this game from an offensive perspective. And if you can run the ball and then maybe get into some advantageous spots where you can play action and maybe get some guys running down the field, namely Rashid Shaheed, like you can maybe get some easy throws or some big plays from Spencer Rattler. The Spencer Rattler I saw last week was okay. He didn't hurt you last week. Wasn't perfect, wasn't explosive, wasn't gaudy, wasn't eye-catching, but he was okay. And I think he can be okay against this San Francisco team. But if you get him into bad spots with incomplete passes on 1st down, which leads to 2nd and 10s, and then you try to run it, and it's 3rd and 8, and then you got Bosa and that crew coming off the edge, like that is a recipe for disaster for this team. They've got to run the football in this game. Get Kamara involved, lessen his workload with Kendre Miller, get the ball moving on the ground. Defensively, not having Chase Young in this game stinks. We talked yesterday about Mac Jones. Mac Jones will turn the football over. He will do it. But you need to pressure him to do that. And Chase Young's the best pressure guy the Saints have. If you listen to everybody who was at camp early on, like he was their best defensive player. And he's not healthy. So now you need Carl Granderson and you need the fountain of youth, which Cam Jordan found last week. He was great. Sack and a half, getting back there, making plays. You know that Brzee can give you a little bit of that as well. So I think the pass rush against Mac Jones, hopefully Brandon Staley has a plan to get Mac Jones sped up a little bit. Because he doesn't have a security blanket in George Kittle. His number one receiver in this game is Ricky Pearsall. That's not an NFL number one. That's not a San Francisco offense that used to hum with Deebo Samuel on the outside, that has relied on George Kittle to be an integral part of what they've done for better than half a decade. Ricky Pearsall, you ought to be able to run with him. I get that Marvin Harrison's a bit of a matchup problem last week. Not Ricky Pearsall. So get them into those situations you're trying to keep Spencer Rattler out of and get after him. Now, you got to shut down Christian McCaffrey, but you've got linebacking core that you feel pretty good about. Got to be in position. I like the Saints matchup in this game because of what San Francisco is missing. If Brock Purdy and George Kittle were healthy going into this game, I would not give the Saints much of a shot. I give the Saints a real shot on Sunday. You're looking at the line on this game now that everything's settled from an injury perspective. Looking at a 3.5-point number that San Francisco is favored by. Saints aren't going to be favored a lot this year. Just get used to that. Like that's not going to happen very often. But like I said last week, I thought that the Saints would be within a score in the fourth quarter. They were. I'm confident the Saints will be within a score in the fourth quarter in this game. But I had a little bit more confidence in Kyler Murray last week than I did in Spencer Rattler, which he almost proved me wrong because he went down there and made the throw that could have gotten them to the finish line. I don't blame Juwan Johnson for dropping it, but the throw was pretty good for that coverage. I do not trust Mac Jones at all. At all. When you are that high a draft pick and you're on your third team in 4.5 years, like that's a big flag, and it is red. So I think the Saints keep this thing close. I'll give you a pick at the end of the show, but the lean here, I think this is a game the Saints can get, and it's a game the Saints need to get. Not because they're going to make the playoffs, not because they're playing for home field advantage, not because they're going to win the Super Bowl. The Saints need to win this game because you just don't want to start 0-4. You don't want to start 0-5, 0-6, 0-8. It's just hard to cultivate a winning culture with loss after loss after loss after loss, and there's nothing to show for it on the other side. You've got 2 road games coming this week that feel, this next 2 weeks, that just don't feel all that winnable. In the NFL, you can go do it, but it doesn't feel like they're going to go do it. At home, backup quarterback, you're relatively healthy besides those 2 guys we mentioned. Jonas Sanker gets an opportunity to go out there and play on defense, and I'm excited to watch him. Hopefully the Dome is in good spirits on Sunday, and hopefully the Saints can give him something to cheer about. I got a feeling about Sunday with the Saints, and I'm hopeful they can cash in on that. Saints and Niners, noon, Fox, over there in the Superdome. That's our look at that ball game. All right, our Friday show is brought to you by Cork's Cajun Fried Fish and Shrimp. By now you well know that. Been a fast-moving and busy first hour, as they always are here on our Football Fridays. We talked about Billy Napier and Brian Kelly and what this game Saturday night means to them at the top of the show. Preston Guy, TigerBait.com was with us at 1:15. We got you set up for the NFL weekend to come at 1:30. Then a little bit of Saints and 49ers. Kind of hit all our bases there. If you missed any of it, you can catch it on demand wherever you find your sound. Hunt on LSU for your LSU stuff. Hunt on Saints for all your Saints stuff. Reminder really quickly about our schedule tomorrow for game day here on the Guarantee family of networks. At 1:30, Eagle 98.1 Game Day from Rouse's. Charles Handegriff, Matt Musso will go 3 hours. They'll hand it off to the LSU Sports Radio Network. That's me. 4:30, we will start from on campus there in our fan zone across the street from Tiger Stadium. You can hear that on Eagle 98.1. 30 minutes after the game goes final, me, Brandon, and Marlon on the postgame show. 90 minutes after it goes final, you'll have Charles and Richard on Eagle 98.1 postgame. So start at 1:30 tomorrow for your LSU-Florida coverage. We'll pause for national headlines. We will come back. We'll pick SEC games against the spread. I'm going undefeated.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Baton Rouge's home for real rock. It's Eagle 98.1. Foo Fighters. Led Zeppelin. AC/DC. Pearl Jam. And the flagship home for LSU sports. Take us anywhere with the Eagle 98.1 app. Eagle 98.1 is the rock station.
Today, we are shaping tomorrow.
We are researching how extreme stress impacts the immune system, from trauma victims to athletes and even astronauts.
Our work is leading the way in sepsis treatment, saving countless lives.
We're unlocking the mind with music in exciting new ways.
Our Lady of the Lake Health and LSU are improving the health of our state.
That's the impact of champions.
Imagine the impact we'll have on the future. Together, we roar.
Hi, this is Beth Torina. Welcome to my pool. The first time I saw this beautiful pool, it exceeded every expectation that I had. They were able to get everything we wanted in this pool. It is a beautiful pool. We live out here, we eat out here, we watch TV out here. This is like our living room outside. We love this pool and everything about it. When we decided to build our pool, we called a great friend who is one of the best pool builders in the country in North Louisiana, and we said, who would you choose to build a pool in Baton Rouge? And without a hesitation, he told us Russell Pools. He said their history, tradition of great builds, great pools was unmatched. So of course, who did we call? Russell Pools. The advice I would give to anyone looking to build a pool is first call Russell Pools. They'll do an incredible job. It'll be incredibly organized. It'll be time efficient. And you will have your pool in no time.
At Ochsner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Ochsner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Ochsner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
Family owned and community driven.
Service Chevrolet Cadillac, a legacy you can trust since 1972. Service Chevrolet Cadillac, our family serving your family.
For over 50 years.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief: our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
River Parish Contractors has immediate openings for structural steel shop fabricators. Call or text Big Jake today at 318-547-1000 or go to rpcontractors.com and click on employment. River Parish Contractors. Let's get building.
Is Sports Center.
I'm Ed Benkin. We start with injury news from the NFL. Chiefs coach Andy Reid says there is a slim chance receiver Xavier Worthy will play against the Eagles on Sunday. He's been dealing with a shoulder injury. Bills defensive tackle Ed Oliver is out for Sunday's game against the Jets after accidentally getting stepped on in practice. Sources tell ESPN's Adam Schefter the injury could extend beyond this week. Colts cornerback Javarius Ward won't play against the Broncos on Sunday as he recovers from a concussion. Also, according to ESPN's Adam Schefter, the season is over for Washington's Dietrich Wise, who suffered a torn quadricep last night in the loss to Green Bay. In baseball, the Yankees and Red Sox are set to square off at Fenway tonight. Aaron Judge passed Yogi Berra and tied Joe DiMaggio on the franchise's all-time home run list, but he says wins are more important.
Just two legends, greats in the game, great all-time Yankees. So pretty cool being on a list with them. But I think it's even cooler getting the win, doing something like that.
At Wrigley Field, the Rays lead the Cubs 3-1 in the second. Chicago trailing Milwaukee by 5.5 in the NL Central. College football, Pitt and West Virginia to extend the backyard brawl through 2036 after a 3-year break following tomorrow's game.
Hey, it's your resident Super Bowl champ Chris Candy coming up Monday. From week 2 in the NFL to 3 huge games in college football. I'll recap it all in my Upon Further Review at 7 a.m. Eastern. It's Unsportsmanlike weekday mornings at 6, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Now, the Hunt Palmer Show.
Waiting to rise again.
You're listening to the Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Corks, Cajun fried fish and shrimp on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
This is the moment you've all been waiting for.
Locking down the middle of the day. Live from downtown Baton Rouge, this is Hunt Palmer.
Hour 2, Friday edition Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Corks, Cajun fried fish and shrimp. Working towards the weekend. If you've already clocked out, congratulations. Enjoy that weekend. If you're not yet done with the work week, we'll get you to the finish line here on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Remind you, on Football Fridays, our schedule goes from 7 a.m. until about 9 o'clock p.m., live and local right here on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. We start things off with OTB 7 to 10. They're over at Rouse's on Football Fridays. Then they hand the baton to the gang live at lunch from Rufino's 10 to 1. I'm here 1 to 3 on the Hunt Palmer Show. Matt, AFR 3 to 6. And then Kay Wassam is there from 6 to 6:45 with Louisiana Prep Preview, getting ready for the high school action around the state. Catholic High football starts up 6:45, 7 o'clock kickoff for Catholic. Big game for the Bears tonight, and they're done about 9 o'clock. So 7 a.m., 9 o'clock, lock us in.
Who's
every
Catholic
Friday.
playing?
I think it's St. Thomas More. They were talking about it earlier today, and I know Catholic's got a big game. I know U-High's in the Dome against Rummel.
Yeah.
And I know that Carr is playing like American Heritage out of Florida. So like some really big time weekend in South Louisiana for football. Speaking of big time weekends, big weekend in SEC play.
Yeah.
I've got some good news and some bad news back. What would you like first?
Let's do the bad news first.
I was 2-9 last week. That's
yes, bad. You were.
But the good news is we did have a winning week the first week, so it's just 8-14. We're 6 under 500.
Yeah.
I'm picking 10 games.
Okay.
We go 7-3 this week. We chip into that. We're only 2 games below 500 for the year.
Oh yeah, you just got to win 7.
Just got to win 7 out of 10. That's easy money.
Easy.
I was awful in school when I could get 70% most of the time. So all I got to do is get 7 out of 10. There's only one way to get 7 out of 10. That's to be just dominant with your picks in a given week. Let's start it up. SEC against the number. There's the music. Here come the picks. 11 o'clock. ESPN 2. Oklahoma is at Temple. Why? Nobody knows. Hangover spot for the Sooners? Could be. Temple's 2-0. They've won their 2 games 97-17. They played Howard and UMass. Hangover for OU? I don't think so. OU's defense is legit. I will lay the 23.5 with the Sooners up in Philly. Also at 11 o'clock, ABC, Wisconsin at Alabama. 20.5 is a massive number in this game. Now, Wisconsin quarterback Billy Edwards Jr. is doubtful in this game, got a sprained knee. The reports are he will not play. I think Bama is not really great on offense. Wisconsin's decent on defense. Get a couple of stops, 20.5. Bucky Badger in Tuscaloosa. Give me Wisconsin. 11:45 SEC Network. South Alabama Jaguars at Auburn. 24.5 is the number on this one. South Alabama allowed 21 points to Morgan State and 33 to Tulane. I think Auburn's going to score a lot in this game. I will take Auburn minus the 24.5. Not a hangover spot for Auburn anyway here. Give me the Tigers at home minus 24.5. Noon, ESPN Plus. Louisiana Lafayette is at Missouri. I kind of like Missouri as a bully. When Missouri's got more talent, Eli's got a bit of an edge to him. They like to score some points, throw it around a little bit. I'll lay the 27.5 with Missouri against the Ragin' Cajuns. Give me Eli and the Tigers. 2:30 ABC. Monster game in the Southeastern Conference. Number 5, Georgia at number 15, Tennessee. The number here, 3.5. Georgia's favored on the road. Tennessee has not stood up to Georgia's physical play. Here are the final scores for this high-flying Josh Heupel offense against Georgia in recent years. 31-17 Georgia. 38-10 Georgia. 27-13 Georgia. 41-17 Georgia. They are holding Tennessee under 20 in every game. They're out physically on offense. They're running the football on them. Tennessee just gets punched in the face, and I just don't think that they're going to be able to withstand Georgia's physicality. And I love this thing that Kirby Smart does. On the scouting report of the other team with a depth chart, he puts a little peach with all the Georgia natives that go elsewhere. Tennessee's apparently got a lot of them. They don't like that in Athens. I think they're going to be fired up. I think they're going to go to Knoxville. I think they cover the 3.5 points on the road. UTEP is at Texas, 40.5. UTEP scored 16 points at Utah State. Can they get to 10 points against Texas? I don't think so. I got Texas minus 40.5. I think they just score a billion in this game on UTEP. I'm not picking Mississippi State hosting Alcorn. Enjoy the weekend, Cowbells. You earned it last week. Let's go to 6 o'clock. Night slate. Arkansas is at Ole Miss, 6.5. I've got a little kid, right? They touch the stove. You tell them, don't touch the stove. It's hot. You figure that out pretty quickly, right? Don't leave your hand on the stove, right? I keep picking Lane Kiffin to cover. He doesn't cover. I pick him as the lock of the year last week at Kentucky. He doesn't cover. Do I keep my hand on the stove? Yes, I do. I do keep my hand on the stove. I take Ole Miss. I lay the 6.5 against Arkansas, who can't be good. If Lane doesn't cover this, Ole Miss is doomed this year because there's no way Arkansas is good. And it's in Oxford. Lay the 6.5. 6:30 on NBC. Texas A&M, number 16 in the country, at Notre Dame, number 8 in the country. The Aggies need to be better on defense. UTSA had a bat go for 177 yards on them, including a huge run. Allowing 23 points to UTSA, Utah State, is just not good. But Notre Dame didn't really run the ball in Miami, 93 yards on 28 carries. I think that Notre Dame's got great uniforms. I think that Texas A&M thinks they're wearing cool uniforms this week with the all-whites. No, you look stupid because you have no tradition, and I don't think you're going to win this game. But I do think you're going to cover the 6.5. Give me Texas A&M plus the 6.5. I'm not betting on Kentucky. Can't pick Kentucky. They're playing Eastern Michigan. The number's 25.5. I cannot pick Kentucky unless they play Eastern Michigan. Eastern Michigan lost 52-27 to Texas State and lost to Long Island by 5 points last week. Kentucky stoops minus 25.5 in the big grocery store. I'm picking Kentucky. That feels like a terrible move. Eastern Michigan, they're awful. And then the nightcap, 6:45 SEC Network, Vanderbilt out South Carolina. This is going to be a slugfest. Vandy ran 37 times for 262 yards on Virginia Tech. South Carolina's tough and physical, 32nd in the country in run defense. Both quarterbacks want to make plays off schedule. Lenora Sellers, Diego Pavia, they want to run around. They want to make plays. They want to run the football. This is going to be an awesome football game. I don't think anybody that's an LSU fan is going to watch it because LSU's got their own business to take care of at this time slot. But it's going to be a good one in Columbia. Numbers 3.5. Vanderbilt and the points.
Anchor down.
3.5. Diego Pavia. This is going to be a close game. I like the points either way. Give me Vanderbilt to cover in a dogfight. I will take the doors plus the 3.5. So, if you're keeping score at home, my 7-10 week this week is Oklahoma minus 23.5. Oklahoma minus 23.5. Wisconsin plus 20.5. Auburn minus 24.5. Missouri minus 27.5. Georgia minus 3.5. Texas minus 40.5. Ole Miss minus 6.5. The Aggies catching 6.5. Kentucky laying 25.5. Ooh, that sounds awful. And the Vanderbilt Commodores getting 3.5 points in South Carolina. That could be 10-0.
That's a lot of favorites, Hunt.
I usually take favorites.
You do.
And that's how I get over 500.
No, it's how you went 2-9 last week.
I probably took some points last week.
You probably did, but
I don't have my sheet anymore. I threw it away.
And
but,
I just replaced the picks from last week with this week.
That's okay. But look, I got Vandy as a dog.
I like it.
I've got A&M as a dog.
Don't like it.
I've got Wisconsin as a dog.
I like it.
That's all the dogs I got. I got 7 favorites.
Don't like A&M.
Why?
Notre Dame, I think Notre Dame is actually pretty good.
Who's Notre Dame's quarterback?
I don't know.
Who's Notre Dame's offensive coordinator?
No idea.
Mike Denbrock, Jaden Daniels' offensive coordinator.
No,
Who has better uniforms in that game? Notre Dame, Plastic Homes. What about A&M, icy whites with the script?
I mean, it's not even a close.
I had to get at Marler on Twitter today.
Notre Dame has some of the best uniforms in college football.
Yeah. He was like, this is sick. Aggies by 1 million. I said, gimmick, all white, stupid uniforms with no tradition.
CJ Carr, freshman.
There you go.
That's right.
Lloyd Carr's grandson.
Couldn't forget about him.
Versus the Golden Dome's touchdown Jesus. This is a landslide uniform victory for Notre Dame.
I'm pretty surprised. I mean, look, 6.5 is kind of a big number.
It's huge.
It is. But still, I mean, Notre Dame, for home opener, they're going to be going crazy.
I have watched A&M play these two patsies the last 2 weeks because they played in the morning. It's the only window I can watch because I got pregame show, game, postgame. Their defense has looked stinky, and I don't expect that from a Mike Elko team.
And by the way, Notre Dame coming off a bye. They didn't play last week.
Yeah.
So they're going to be rested up. They're going to be ready to go at home. No.
Aggies plus 6.5. I always take the underdogs. Love taking points.
Always, yeah, absolutely. You're only laying like a combined 200 points right now this week. You're laying 26.5, 40.5, 27.5, 24.5, 23.5. That's like 400 points.
We like that.
Yeah.
Look, how many games in September are 65-10? A bajillion.
Okay, maybe some, but
do you think Wisconsin can stay in it? I have them.
I do. I do think so. At home,
they could be bad though. It's Wisconsin. Luke Fickell has really not gotten that going at all.
No, he's in trouble too. He may be on the hot seat.
He doesn't have his quarterback. I need Ty Simpson to be terrible. I need that stadium booing. I want toxicity in Tuscaloosa. They got going. Ty Simpson had a perfect game last week. Didn't throw an incompletion. Everybody felt good about it. I need them to come back to the crisis situation.
I think Alabama's offense is probably not that good, and I think Wisconsin's defense is going to be good enough to where they can keep it within 3 scores.
We'll see.
3 touchdowns, I should say.
Should I be betting on Kentucky? That's really a question a lot of people are asking.
No, you should not. Absolutely not. No.
Eastern Michigan, they lost by 30 to Texas State.
It does not matter, Hunt.
Texas State. What's their mascot?
Texas State, the Bobcats.
That's right.
When is the last time Kentucky has scored more than like 40? Have they ever scored more than 50 points in a game ever?
Calipari had them scoring 90.
Well, that's true. They scored 20.
Mark Pope, great coach.
Yeah. All right, let's see. Okay, they scored 23 against Ole Miss, 24 against Toledo. The Rockets are pretty good, so I'll give them that.
The Rockets are not good.
No, the Rockets are good. They're usually the best MAC team.
Exactly. They're a MAC team. They stink.
They didn't break 40 last year. Okay, sorry. They scored 48 against the Racers, Murray State.
Murray State. Coach
FCS
McMahon.
team.
John Morant. All right. Let's talk LSU-Florida next.
Oops.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Would you like to hear right before the...
Man, age is just a number. Don't let it dictate how you feel. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness has anti-aging service.
Might not think about day to day, but it could be a big deal, especially as folks age. So contact David and say, hey, just like to take a look at this. And he's happy to have that free consultation, sit down with you. That doesn't cost you a thing. And if you decide to go through with it and want to have financing available, they've got it. 0% up to 18 months. Same as cash if you qualify. It's One Bath and Closets. You can find them online. OneBathandClosets.com.
I believe everything happens for a reason.
Man, age is just a number. Don't let it dictate how you feel. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness has anti-aging services that can help you look and feel your best. Visit yourgoodwood.com and discover a renewed sense of vitality.
Businesses like yours are the soul of our community. You deserve someone who'll deliver the internet services you deserve. That's why local businesses rely on Rev Business, 90 years of building connections. Visit us at letsrev.biz.
Looking for the ultimate game day experience? Come to the Queen Casino in Baton Rouge. Wall-to-wall TVs mean you'll see every touchdown in HD. Place your bets and feel the thrill of every play with our DraftKings Sportsbook. The Queen Casino, where every moment is a win.
My father, J.B. Falgu, had a vision of growth for First American Bank and the communities we serve. The bank's foundation was built on his legacy of compassion, loyalty, and dedication. Through his years of leadership, First American has prospered to heights even J.B. could not have imagined. I know my father would be extremely proud of the customer service and financial stability that First American provides to Southeast Louisiana. We continue to thrive because of the legacy of J.B. Falgu.
At Atmos Energy, our Smart Choice solutions help customers save energy and emissions with rebates up to $500 off high-efficiency natural gas appliances, smart thermostats, and weatherization upgrades. Together, we're fueling our energy future.
It's not just a game, it's a religion. You've got your team color, team swag, and now your very own website, LouisianaSports.net. Everything LSU, Saints, and Pelicans. Sports on demand. In-depth coverage by sports writing pros with continuously updated news. And with the LouisianaSports.net newsletter, you get pinged directly with top trending stories. Best of all, now and always, no paywall. It's free. LouisianaSports.net, powered by 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Your home for Louisiana sports.
We typically think of stress as being bad for us. At Our Lady of the Lake and LSU, we are researching how certain types of stress, such as exercise, can be good for our immune health. By studying people under extreme stress, such as athletes, astronauts, service members, and first responders, we're learning how to improve the immune health of everyone. That's the power of research. That's the impact of champions. Together, we roar.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief. Our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing.
This is the Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Corks, Cajun fried fish and shrimp.
Friday shows brought to you by Corks, Cajun fried fish and shrimp. Check out that menu, corksfishandshrimp.com, for your tailgates all season long. Don't be afraid to reach out to the folks at Corks. You can have those delicious trays of crispy fried catfish, jumbo Gulf shrimp, shoestring fries, coleslaw, honey butter rolls, all the fixins, including the sauces. Got to go with the Corks sauce. I know tartar sauce, great. Cocktail sauce, good in its own right. People love ketchup. My kid eats ketchup by the spoonful. Go with the Corks sauce over at Corks. Government between Foster and Jefferson, corksfishandshrimp.com. All right, LSU in Florida from Tiger Stadium Saturday night in Death Valley. We've analyzed a lot of this game. One thing I haven't talked a lot about is LSU's passing game. And I thought LSU's passing game was pretty damn good at Clemson. It was efficient. It was effective. And if you credit Berrien Brown with that touchdown, the statistics really do look good. That's going to add another 30 yards to get Nussmeier up close to 300. You're going to toss in a second touchdown. That's a good day on the road for LSU in the passing game, but that didn't happen. The passing game stunk last week. It just did. Nussmeier was inaccurate. He threw the wounded duck interception to start the game. He missed reads. He missed some throws. Kyle Parker dropped the ball in the end zone. Like, they were just bad in the passing game last week. And LSU cannot be bad in the passing game. Like, there are times they may struggle to run the ball. And that's just part of what this team is. And it may be an Achilles heel for them. It may not be, but that's going to be expected with this offensive line. If the strength of your team, your 4,000-yard, fifth-year senior quarterback, who's a projected first-round pick who wears 18, and the toys that you've got on the outside with Aaron Anderson and Barryon Brown and Chris Hilton and Nick Anderson and Kyle Parker and Xavion Thomas and all these guys, and then when Trey Green gets back, if that fails, you will not succeed. When your strength deserts you, you've got big problems. Because LSU's second pitch here, which is the running game and the screen game, like it's not going to carry you. You've got to get the ball down the field. Last year, Garrett Nussmeier and this LSU team were elite on third down. Elite on third down. You were 6th in the country in third down conversions. And that was not because you pounded away at teams and were constantly in 3rd and 2. That's because you had a quarterback, a wide receiver group, and an offensive line that were able to consistently pick up that 6-8 yard play that you needed. Mason Taylor was a big part of that. Kyron Lacey was a big part of that. But you've got enough guys on this team to make that happen. Now, I was concerned with Garrett Nussmeier's that interception he threw last week. I didn't see him miss a throw like that all year. And we asked him about it on Tuesday. He said, just happens. Quarterback, you miss a throw. Maybe that's true, but I did not like what I saw. Florida, in 2 games this year, faced essentially a triple option team in Long Island. They were in the shotgun, but it's basically a triple option offense. And then they faced a South Florida team that has a good quarterback, but he's very athletic and runs around. They have not seen anything like this LSU offense. That doesn't mean they can't stop LSU's offense. What all I mean by that is this is a completely different look than what Florida has seen this year. And what LSU saw from Clemson was a Clemson team that was playing 2 high safeties against LSU's passing game, and it was a real quick passing game in and out to LSU. Then last week, Louisiana Tech sat back in a shell, and they just were content to let LSU get short gains at a time, and Garrett Nussmeier got a little aggressive and tried to go down the field a little bit too much. And look, all we talked about all last week was, hey, this is your chance to get the vertical passing game going. And it didn't really work out. But you need to make some plays through the air in this game on Saturday night. Like, and some of it, I was listening to Richard Dixon on Live at Lunch earlier today, and he was talking about watching the tape, and Garrett Nussmeier just wasn't taking what was there. He was forcing the ball. And what I will say about that is there are very few quarterbacks that I can remember covering at LSU that I have more confidence in to take a look at that tape and make that significant adjustment of, hey, if we need to throw it at the line of scrimmage or throw a 3-yard pass to get 6-8 yards, let's do that. I know it's important that LSU get the downfield passing game going. We talked about it all last week. That helps you out in the running game. That makes big plays. That gets the stadium going. That's important. But you can't abandon your strength to do it. And I think Garrett Nussmeier's strength as a college quarterback is playing point guard, just distributing the ball here and there to these really good players. Make Florida go tackle these guys. Make them tackle Aaron Anderson. Make them tackle Barryon Brown. Make them tackle Chris Hilton. Make them tackle Bauer Sharp. Make them tackle Caden Durham. Make them tackle Harlem Berry. And if they do it, make them do it again. It's important to get this passing game going. Here's the deal. I am not super confident in LSU's ability to run the ball in this game against Florida. When you look at Caleb Downs and you look at Tyreek Sapp and you look at the guys that Florida has on this front and then you look at LSU's offense, I think it's unlikely, barring a big busted play, which LSU is very capable of, that LSU runs the ball for 160, 180 yards in this game. I find that to be unlikely. I think LSU's rushing total probably comes in somewhere in the neighborhood of 90 yards. So you got to find your other 300 yards, 270 yards in the air. And Garrett Nussmeier is very capable of doing that. And it doesn't all have to be down the field. But that's got to be cleaned up. I'm not concerned with Garrett Nussmeier's accuracy. He's got accuracy. He did it all last year. They've got to find a way to get that passing game rolling in this game against Florida. There's no two ways about it because it's the strength of your team. Florida hasn't seen anything like this, so I don't know what their pass defense looks like. It'll be tested early and often in this game on Saturday night. Briefly, let's look at the other side of this coin with Florida running the football. We talked about this a little bit yesterday. I believe Billy Napier will look at what Florida did last week against South Florida, and he will make an adjustment because they got the ball to Jaden Ball, and he was averaging north of 11 yards per carry on the ground on their first drive. I mean, and none of it was a 60-yard chunk. It was like 10, 16, 13, 11, 10. Like they were giving him the ball. He got 6 touches, and then they went away from him, started throwing the ball. They're not going to make that mistake again. But here's the deal. I do have confidence in LSU's front seven to shut that down. I think Bro, McKinley, Gooden, Guillory, Pyburn, Payton, Relaford, Butler, Weeks, Perkins, Halsey, that whole group is going to be a force against the run all year. And Florida hasn't done a great job in run blocking this year. They did on that one drive against South Florida. They've allowed 18 tackles for loss in 2 games. That is setting up negative plays. And we talked about this yesterday. You do that to Florida's run game and you put them behind the chains and you make DJ Lagway in front of that crowd with that defensive coordinator LSU's got and make plays, that's the recipe for LSU to have some real success. But you've got to stop the run first for that to happen. And I believe Billy Napier will come to Baton Rouge understanding what they got away from last week and trying to get back to that this week. The difference is this LSU team is ready for that. I expect some old school LSU football in that building tomorrow where a team hands the ball off and boom, line of scrimmage, that guy goes down. And that crowd goes nuts. That's what I expect to see in this game a lot. And that puts a lot of pressure on DJ Lagway. And so essentially this is a roundabout way of talking like, hey, these 2 quarterbacks are going to have a lot on their plate on Saturday night. This is a big, big spot for both of them with a lot of pressure on both of them. DJ Lagway is kind of carrying the weight of Florida's program. Garrett Nussmeier wants to win a championship in his final year. That's what he came back to do. You're a long way from that right now in early September. But you can take a step on Saturday night in Death Valley. I think these 2 quarterbacks are going to have to be on their A game to win a game. I think it's going to be a close scoring game. And I think that it's going to be entertaining inside Tiger Stadium. There's a lot of talent on this team. Make no mistake. Like, Florida got embarrassed last week. That is not to discredit the talent they've got on that team. And that includes the offense, which stunk last week. You've got an All-American center. You've got a 5-star quarterback. You've got Jaden Ball, who's an all-SEC type running back. Trey Wilson was a 5-star recruit wide receiver who's explosive as a playmaker. We've talked about the 2 defensive linemen they've got. Like, Florida's got dudes. This is Billy Napier's best roster by a good bit. Last week was a stunner. And it's embarrassing, but it doesn't mean they can't play. LSU can too. It's going to be a wild one inside at Tiger Stadium. I'm excited to get to it. Let me get you our game day schedule. Once again, we talked about it at the end of the first hour, but for those that are just tuning in, tomorrow you can find our game day coverage at Eagle 98.1 simulcast here on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Starts at 1:30. Charles Handegriff and Matt Musso from Rouse's on Burbank. They'll be there from 1:30 until 4:30. They'll hand things off to the LSU Sports Radio Network. That is me, Brandon Taylor, Marlon Favorite on campus. We'll be with you for 90 minutes from 4:30 to 6 o'clock. Hand off to the broadcast team, Gordy Rush, Jacob Hester, voice of the Tigers, Chris Blair. 30 minutes after it goes final, me, Brandon, Marlon with you for an hour on the Fighting Tiger postgame report on the LSU Sports Radio Network. 90 minutes after the score goes final, Charles Handegriff, Richard Dixon right here in the studio. They'll take your phone calls on Eagle 98.1 Game Day's post-game show. So 1:30 p.m. to about 2 o'clock in the morning, we'll be with you live from Baton Rouge for a big one between LSU and Florida, and I am fired up for it. This city's going to be a lot of fun tonight. If you're coming on in, be careful when you do so. Enjoy the town this evening, and tomorrow should be a wild day on campus, and we're looking forward to bringing all of it to you here on the Guarantee family of networks. We got to play some Take It or Leave It. We got to get my final picks for Saints and 49ers, as well as LSU and Florida. We will do all that over the final 30 minutes next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Genesis of Baton Rouge, genesisofbatonrouge.com, America's best warranty. They advertise it, and it is the truth. It's industry leading what they're doing over at Genesis of Baton Rouge. So when you make that purchase and you become a Genesis driver, you're talking about a powertrain warranty, 10 years, 100,000 miles. You're talking about a new vehicle warranty, 5 years, 60,000 miles, bumper to bumper. 5 years on that warranty. How about 24/7 enhanced roadside assistance? Never get stranded. 5 years, unlimited miles. As much as you drive that Genesis, you will have that roadside assistance, as well as complimentary valet scheduled maintenance, oil changes, air filters, wiper fluids, and blades, all that stuff that's a nuisance to get taken care of. They can help you out with it, and they can valet it to you, bring it right back to you. Genesis of Baton Rouge. Find the entire inventory online at genesisofbatonrouge.com, genesisofbatonrouge.com.
These ice cubes could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they cradle and cool the crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Nicely done, ice cubes.
When it comes to pipe fabrication, time is money. And at River Parish Contractors, we make every second count. Our 36,000 square foot shop is ready to take on your projects right now. With experienced welders, precise fittings, and fast turnarounds you can trust. Whether it's a single custom spool or a full-scale run, we have the capacity and the skill to keep your job on schedule. Call us or visit rpcontractors.com for your quote. That's rpcontractors.com.
At Atmos Energy, our smart choice solutions help customers save energy and emissions with rebates up to $500 off high-efficiency natural gas appliances, smart thermostats, and weatherization upgrades. Together, we're fueling our energy future.
Looking for cleaner energy? Propane is energy for everyone. And when you're cooking with clean, affordable propane, you're cooking with gas. In the wintertime, nothing heats a home like Louisiana propane. And when you need hot water, propane's got you covered. Oh, and you won't regret that propane generator when the power goes out. I'm Miss Louisiana, Gabrielle McLeod, and to find more information and to find a propane dealer near you, visit louisianapropane.com.
Men, age is just a number. Don't let it dictate how you feel. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness has anti-aging services that can help you look and feel your best. Visit yourgoodwood.com and discover a renewed sense of vitality.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
Today, we are shaping tomorrow.
We are researching how extreme stress impacts the immune system, from trauma victims to athletes and even astronauts.
Our work is leading the way in sepsis treatment, saving countless lives.
We're unlocking the mind with music in exciting new ways.
Our Lady of the Lake Health and LSU are improving the health of our state.
That's the impact of champions.
Imagine the impact we'll have on the future. Together, we roar.
Hi, this is Beth Serena. Welcome to my pool.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Corks, Cajun fried fish and shrimp.
Shows brought to you by Corks Cajun fried fish and shrimp. Just delicious jumbo Gulf shrimp, crispy, clean fried catfish. Gotta love some fried seafood, especially out there on campus on a gorgeous fall Saturday. Gonna be a little warm tomorrow. Should be a fun one on campus if you're looking to feed your tailgate. Corks happy to do it. Check out the menu online, corksfishandshrimp.com.
Would have been real nice if we could have had the weather from Monday on Saturday, because that was incredible.
I think I've made a decision.
Okay.
I'm going with shorts again tomorrow.
Yeah, you have to.
I mean, it has been the last 4 years I've worn shorts to that season opener against Nichols, Grambling, Southern Tech. I feel like if I'm going to work, I should wear pants. Like, that's a reasonable thing. Everybody in the press box is in pants. Everybody in the press box doesn't have to sit in that trailer for 2 hours when it's 98 degrees on the concrete. It's just, it's oppressive out there.
It's untenable.
I'm willing to do it. I'm happy to do it. I love doing the pregame show. It's a lot of fun. Got to see a lot of listeners out there, and like it's fun to hang out with Brandon and Marlon, talk some football, and be a part of the game day team. It is hot, and I usually go to pants the second home game in week 3. I'm going shorts again tomorrow. It's just like I'm already drenched in sweat from sitting there. It's not a lot of ventilation where we sit there in that trailer. So I'm not going to complain about the heat. I'm just going to tell you that it's going to be hot, and I'm wearing shorts. That's just what it's going to be.
No, Hunt. No one is going to to say you're unprofessional because you're wearing shorts and it's 105 degrees outside.
The high is 97, and we start the pregame show at 4:30 p.m. on a concrete block.
Yeah. What are you going to do?
You're going to wear shorts. That's what you're going to do. And for right now, we're going to play Take It or Leave It.
Take it or leave it.
Take it or leave it.
Presented to you by Flight by Yingling, the next generation of light beer, crafted by America's oldest brewery. Today's hottest stories in sports, news, and sometimes even Hunt's life. The question is, will he take them or leave them?
You know what's really good when it's 98 degrees on a concrete block on a game day?
What's good?
Flight by Yingling, the next generation of light beer. I'm guessing there are multiple listeners out there that are planning on having a first beer tomorrow and planning on having a second beer, and there may be another beer to follow after that one. If that's the case, you're looking for a delicious, light, refreshing beer, Flight by Yingling is perfect for these hot Louisiana game days. So get on by wherever you purchase your beer and get a Flight by Yingling 12-pack, bring it onto the tailgate, and enjoy that this weekend. Flight by Yingling, the next generation of light beer.
Alrighty, first one here. Caden Durham over 100 yards in this game on Saturday. Take it or leave it.
I'm going to leave that. I'll tell you this. If he gets over 100 yards, LSU's going to win the game.
Easily.
It goes back like that Arkansas game last year where he was just, they really ran it great. Well, that's when the offense is at its best when that's happening. It just doesn't happen very often. And Arkansas doesn't have any dudes up front. Florida's got dudes. So I think it's going to be tough for LSU to run the ball in the game tomorrow. I'm not saying Caden Durham's going for 11 yards, but he's not going over 100 in my opinion.
All right, next one. Braylon Moore starts. Take it or leave it.
I'll take that.
I'll take it.
I feel very, very good about that. Certainly Brian Kelly said he practiced fully yesterday, so that's not exactly breaking news here on this Thursday, but expect to see Braylon Moore in the starting lineup. I'm curious to see how that goes. I said this earlier when we were talking to Preston. I'm hopeful that he can gut through this game and he can take some days off next week before Southeastern Louisiana. And then you got to go to Oxford. He could probably use a week off that ankle, but this is a big game. He's your best guy. If he can give you 84% tomorrow, he's probably got to give you 84% tomorrow. That's a tough order when you're talking about how good Caleb Downs is on the interior for Florida.
All right, next one. Gold games. Take it or leave it.
I'll take it. Like, it's fine. You want to do a gold game? I'm just telling you that LSU doesn't listen.
No, that's so. I don't.
It doesn't hurt anybody to do it.
No, of course not. No.
It hurts my soul when they go out there in gold uniforms. That I'm against.
Yes.
You want to tell the fans what to wear with the understanding that only 41% of them are going to do it? That's fine with me.
Okay. I mean, I just think it's.
Would you wear gold?
I don't. Sometimes I don't even know. I think that's the biggest problem. Is sometimes people don't even know about it. Like,
I mean, you got a lot of season ticket holders that aren't spending a lot of time on Facebook and Twitter. I'm sure.
Yeah.
But like, that's where the general message is passed along.
Yeah, it is. I guess I would, but I mean, yeah, if I was going to the game and I knew it, maybe I would, but I don't even know if I have a gold LSU shirt, actually. I think they're all just like purple and white.
I need to count my LSU shirts. It is
a
significant number. I would put the over-under at 14.
Yeah, that's
14
probably,
golf shirts.
Yeah, just golf shirts. People
it's way over that with T-shirts.
Yeah, and then maybe some quarter zips in there, too.
Two quarter zips and 3 hoodies.
Yeah.
And then a sweater.
You got a lot.
Got a lot of stuff.
All right, moving on. Virg Osbury told Matt Moscona that LSU will cancel its Arizona State series. Take it or leave it.
I believe the report was that it's likely that they're going to make some changes to that. You can read about it all on LouisianaSports.net right now. Matt had a great sit-down with Verge and has a great story up. This is in line with what everyone else is doing.
But would you take it or leave it?
I would take it.
I'll take it.
There are 3 different schools that have announced this morning that they are canceling non-conference Power 5 games with the now new legislation that says they're going to play 9 league games. You have schools like Florida and Kentucky and South Carolina that already have a built-in rival. They're not going to schedule another one and 9 league games. All of a sudden, you're talking about 9 league games and 2 P5 games. That is 11 Power 5 games. People aren't going to do that. So while you can sit here and say that it's destroying, big-time matchups at a conference, yeah, but it's also adding big-time matchups in the conference. So teams are not going to sign up to go play 11 out of 12 in Power 5s unless everyone does it. And if everyone does it, then everyone will do it, obviously. But right now, not everyone's doing it. And you got Indiana sneaking into the playoff with a terrible football team. And nobody cared. Like, everyone's looking at that. Well, that's ridiculous. Then I'm taking these off the schedule. So looks like LSU's going to make some adjustments. Louisiana Tech may be here again next year. They're probably still going to entertain the SMU game and the Houston game because those took the place of the Oklahoma scheduled, and then Oklahoma came into the conference. But LSU has kind of been light on scheduling in advance because they saw these 9 games coming. So I'm fine with it.
All right, next one. Spencer Rattler will pass for more yards than Mac Jones. Take it or leave it.
I will leave it.
Yeah, I agree.
I think Matt Jones will throw for more. I think the Saints will have more success running the ball than San Francisco will, and that is with Christian McCaffrey running the football. So I like Spencer Rattler to move the ball. I don't think he's got to do it all himself. I think the Saints need to run the ball. So I'll take Mac Jones to throw for more yards, especially in Kyle Shanahan's offense.
All right, last one. The Shark Dogs +8 tomorrow. Ooh. Take it or leave it.
I got to leave it.
Yeah.
I can't. If there's another 4-year-old team coming around, I mean, it's bad.
The thing is,
real bad.
Hunt, we got to get the Shark Dogs some. Myers needs some help. Okay, he's the only one out there.
Apparently, I wasn't at practice yesterday. Apparently, there were some goals getting put in the net yesterday.
Oh,
practice
really? Okay.
For the young Shark Dogs.
All
now
right.
there were no 4-year-olds out there.
Yeah.
It's tough. I mean,
it is.
These teams that in college football gets their butts kicked on Saturday, they get a big check for it.
They do.
And the Shark Dogs are not seeing any check.
The Shark Dogs
for this.
need something. They should be getting paid for this because the 4-year-olds need to be playing the 4-year-olds.
They get treats after the game. They had Capri Suns last week.
They
were fired
good.
up.
That's good, but we may need a little bit more from this.
I'll tell you what. The Myers man does not like it when the other team scores 50 goals and his team scores 4.
Would you like it if the other team scored 50 goals on you?
A lot of the Shark Dogs don't seem to be as bothered as Myers.
Okay, but Myers is clearly a competitor. He's clearly a really good player, and he cares about the game.
He's also not very good at coming. Not a selfless player. He won't come out of the game.
That's all
right. And
right.
then he does come out of the game. He's yelling when he can go back in.
Look, that's what you want from a guy.
Sometimes you got to take a breather and get the water bottle.
You want somebody on your team that just doesn't want to come out the game. You want him to be hungry like that, Hunt.
Mm-hmm. The Shark Dogs, if they're playing 4-year-olds, it just sounds like the rest of the game's against 4-year-olds.
Oh no.
I'm not taking the 8 points. I'm laying them eight goals. I mean, they didn't cover 20 last week.
That's a pretty stinky line.
I'm pretty sure Mia Hamm was on the other team. This chick, she was putting it in. She was putting it in the net. She scored 10 goals.
Yeah, that's a stinky line though. +8. I was expecting like maybe +15 or 20. So I might take the Shark Dogs.
I haven't scouted the other team. I can't handicap it like the Otter. But we'll see what the Shark Dogs can do 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. One more reminder about our Football Friday schedules all fall long here. 101.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. We start with OTB 7 to 10, then 10 to 1 live at lunch from Rufino's. 1 o'clock to 3 o'clock, I'm here for the Hunt Palmer Show. Matt drives you home on AFR from 3 to 6. 6 o'clock, Kay Wassan takes over for Louisiana Prep Preview. Monster week here in South Louisiana for high school football. He'll get you set for it. And then Catholic High will kick things off at 7. Their pregame show about 6:45, and that game runs till about 9. So you're talking about live and local, 7 to 9 p.m. tomorrow for LSU game day. 1 o'clock till about 1:30, 2 o'clock in the morning over on Eagle 98.1. It starts with Eagle 98.1 game day from Rouse's at 1:30. So lock us in all day on Football Fridays, all afternoon long on Saturday. Very much looking forward to LSU and Florida. There's only one more order of business here to handle on the Hunt Palmer Show on this Football Friday. That is picking the Saints and 49ers. That is picking LSU and Florida. We will do that next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Flight by Yingling is raising the bar by crafting the next generation of light beer. With only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories, This is premium refreshment 6 generations in the making. Flight by Yingling. Raise the bar.
Parish Construction and Roofing.
This is Coach Kim Mulkey. Go to parishbuilt.com for all of your roofing needs.
From your hometown, parishbuilt.com.
My father, J.B. Falgu, had a vision of growth for First American Bank and the communities we serve. The bank's foundation was built on his legacy of compassion, loyalty, and dedication. Through his years of leadership, First American has prospered to heights even J.B. could not have imagined. I know my father would be extremely proud of the customer service and financial stability that First American provides to Southeast Louisiana. We continue to thrive because of the legacy of J.B. Falgu.
104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and First American Bank and Trust bring you the Heart of the Game Award, recognizing student athletes who deliver when it counts. Nominate your game day standout at 1045ESPN.com by the 21st. We'll choose 5 male and 5 female finalists, and then it's up to the fans to vote for the winners. Each winner gets a $250 gift card, a custom award, and the spotlight they've earned. Presented by First American Bank and Trust, a banking tradition since 1910.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance? Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness offers a range of discreet services to address your specific needs. We empower men to reclaim their health and confidence. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
At Ochsner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Ochsner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Ochsner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
Family owned and community driven.
Service Chevrolet Cadillac, a legacy you can trust since 1972. Service Chevrolet Cadillac, our family serving your family.
For over 50 years.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief: our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you.
This is the Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Quirks, Cajun fried fish and shrimp.
Really a fun event over at Lod Cook today. Football Fridays at the Cook. LSU Alumni Association puts it on, and they're gracious enough to have us over as partner there. And myself got to sit down with a panel with Charles Alexander, who will have his number honored in Tiger Stadium tomorrow. Long overdue and well-deserved for a consensus All-American, a college football Hall of Famer who will have his number 4 inside Tiger Stadium forever. I got to sit down and chat with him. Kevin Falk, who was certainly integral in LSU's win over Florida in 1997. Got to ask him about that. Had Jared Mitchell, who was there for LSU in 2007 as a wide receiver before winning a national championship as a baseballer in 2009. So you get to talk to him. And then Colin Jeter there as well. He's with the LSU Alumni Association. Got to lead a panel with those 4 guests. It was great. Shea Dixon was there for some recruiting. Matt Flynn and Jacob Hester talked about the 97 game as well. Gordy broke down Florida. So great event over there at Lod Cook. And we'll have a couple more later on this fall. And so it's very cool to kind of kick the weekend off with that. I told you at the top of the show, these are my favorite shows that we do all year. These Friday shows before big home games, because I know that this town is going to be on fire tonight, and it should be an awesome environment inside Tiger Stadium tomorrow. So wanted to give a hat tip to the Alumni Association for having us out. We'll talk to Colin again next Tuesday. But it was a great start to this Friday, and we're just keeping the vibes rolling here on a show brought to you by Cork's Cajun Fried Fish and Shrimp. Right now, we will pick Saints and 49ers. I've talked about it a lot over the last 2 days. This game changed when you saw that Brock Purdy and George Kittle were unavailable. And I think that compromises what the 49ers can do in this game. Shanahan's a great offensive mind, and Mac Jones does have some talent, and he's played a lot of football in the NFL. It just hasn't been particularly good football in the NFL. They're going to try to get the ball to Christian McCaffrey a lot, but their number 1 receiver in this game is Ricky Pearsall. And I don't mean to offend the Florida fans who are here in Baton Rouge, who are locked in here in denigrating one of their better players in the last 5 or 6 years. But is he a number 1 receiver in the NFL? I don't think so. I like the Saints defense in the game on Sunday, and I think that they're going to run the football a little bit better, even they did last week against the Cardinals, where they were 4th in the league in terms of yards before contact with Alvin Kamara. Get the ball to Kamara, get the ball to Miller, run the football, and take some pressure off of Spencer Rattler. Last week, I thought the Saints would be close in the 4th quarter. I thought they would have a chance, and I didn't trust them to get over the top and win that game. That ended up being exactly what happened. This week, I still think the Saints are going to be close in the 4th quarter. This time, I think the Saints win on Sunday. I'm going to pick the Saints to beat the 49ers. My final 21-20. One way or another, get that 1 more point than San Francisco. Get to 1-1 before this brutal 2-game stretch on the road. And if you can do that and get that win, it doesn't put as much pressure on you when you go on the road for the next couple of weeks. And then you've got a couple of winnable games at home. I'm just trying to get some early wins banked so that it's just not completely miserable over there on campus. Like, that's on campus, in the facility. That's what you're trying to do at this point. I think that the Saints win on Sunday. So give me the black and gold over San Francisco. Now time to pick the LSU-Florida game, 6:30 kickoff inside Tiger Stadium. These 2 teams were bad on offense last week. LSU was bad against Louisiana Tech. Florida was bad against South Florida. I didn't think LSU was bad on offense against Clemson. How much of that is because of Braylon Moore? I don't know. I think it's some, but not a ton. I think more of it was because Garrett Nussmeier didn't play well in the game. I think he plays better on Saturday. You got DJ Lagway on the other side. He played bad last week. He's played good in his time at Florida, certainly in November last year, certainly against LSU. They're going to try to get the ball down the field. That's what DJ Lagway is best at. I trust LSU's defense against just about anybody, and I certainly trust them against this Florida offense that I don't think is great. If Jaden Baugh is put into a box and he's not able to get free and LSU holds him under 80 yards, I don't think Florida's got enough punch on the outside to beat LSU. I know Trey Wilson's a big talent. I know DJ Lagway's a big talent. If LSU can stop Jaden Baugh, and I think they can, it becomes very difficult for Florida to score in this game. On the flip side, LSU, I don't have a ton of confidence in them running the ball, but they've got to get the passing game going. They've got to take what's there when it's there, and when what's there is the deep ball, it's got to be hit. To me, this game feels a lot like Clemson. It feels a lot like LSU's offense may sputter a little bit, may not be high-flying, but that defense is going to be smothering. It was smothering at Clemson. I think it's going to be smothering in front of a fired-up crowd tomorrow. And that analysis leads me to a tight game that's low-scoring. I don't see LSU winning this game by 20 points on Saturday. In fact, I think Florida may have a lead here and there first half, second half. But it's going to be nip and tuck all the way because I think these two defenses are going to have their way up front. That puts pressure on the quarterbacks. I trust one quarterback more than the other quarterback. I trust Garrett Nussmeier. I think LSU wins this game, but it's closer than maybe a lot of people think. I've got LSU winning 20-17. Is that going to put off some alarms about the LSU offense? Maybe, and that may be warranted. But I think that the defense is good enough to get them to a victory in that stadium. If you're going on Saturday night, get crazy. That defense is going to need you, and I think they're going to show out for you. Still have issues on the offensive front. No, Florida's got some dudes that LSU's going to have to block. But I trust the home team with that defense in that stadium. They're going to be a hard team to beat. I got LSU beating Florida by 3 points on Saturday night in Death Valley, moving to 3-0. That'll get you to a breather week against Southeastern coming up next week. If you missed any of our show today on this Football Friday, catch it on demand. Do it quickly because the games are coming up this weekend. Talk to Billy Napier and Brian Kelly at the top of the show and what's on the line for those two coaches. It's a lot, in my opinion. Talk to Preston Guy of TigerBait.com at 1:15. He did a film study on LSU. What did he see? He told us you can find that at Hunt on LSU. Got you set up for the NFL weekend to come, as well as a preview of Saints and Cardinals. SEC picks against the spread. I'm going 7-3 this week. We've already established it. They're all at 2 o'clock, and talk some LSU passing game before take it or leave it in the second hour. That's it for me. We've done all we can do. Matt Moscona is going to drive you home next on After Further Review. We'll be back same time, same place on Monday, reacting to LSU-Florida and Saints-49ers in the weekend in the Southeastern Conference. Have a great weekend. Go Tigers. You've been listening to a Friday edition of The Hunt Palmer Show.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Swing Easy Golf Club in Baton Rouge, swingeasygcbr.com. Let you in on a little secret. I'm about to head over to Swing Easy Golf Club in Baton Rouge. Where's that? It's on Segan, right there at Perkins. I'm going to hit some golf shots. May even sip a cold beer over there at Swing Easy because that's what you can do. You can work on your game on the driving range setting on one of their 3 golf simulators. You can hang out with friends. You want to watch football this weekend, but looking for a place to do it, nobody wants to host? Swing Easy Golf Club will host you. You can bring a whole crew there. They got couches, chairs, televisions. You can all hit golf shots. It's a ton of fun over there at Swing Easy Golf Club. Memberships are available, whether that's individual or corporate memberships. Want to entertain clients inside playing some golf? You can do that over at Swing Easy Golf Club. Check them out online, swingeasygcbr.com. That's swingeasygcbr.com. Go see them. They're on Segan near Perkins. I'm headed that way right now. Going to hit some golf shots. Looking forward to it. Swing Easy Golf Club right here in Baton Rouge.
Looking for cleaner energy? Propane is energy for everyone. Propane water heaters are very cost efficient, and the savings are even greater with